just going to turn the chat off for now. Okay, guys. So today is Thursday, September 7th. And I'm just going to run through the list here. So again, just the announcements for this week is last week we changed the server for the trading room. So far this week seems like everything is pretty stable. We've been doing mic tests and screen sharing. And I'm just going to refresh this. It was from down here around 2000. My alerts were on the pullback around 2400 and then the breakout of 3000. And then I was taking profit around the 100% extension here. It was like my fills were around like 4200. And then after we got the 5,000 rejection and the China news, I took a little more profit around like 4,300. So I've still got a piece of the position working, and you can see, even though we had the China ICO ban, that caused a little bit of a panic, but not much. We basically came down to retest prior support, which was a few things. We had the 4,000 emotional price level. We also had the prior 100% extension turn support. And then, also just prior, I can type here, prior horizontal support, right? So that's what this level was through here. You can see every time we kind of tag that, there's just a lot of buyers at 4,000, and then 5,000 was prior resistance. And we've almost got this upward ascending channel now. So the next extension based on the bigger trend is up here right around 5,200. So here's what I'm thinking. If let's say bulls can stay in control, if we break 5,000, I think we could see another kind of fast parabolic price bar, maybe to even hit the 200% around 6,000. And if that happens, I would close the rest of that position on the trade and then probably scale out more of my longer term position. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. CFI is one that I started in, and obviously, this has gotten beat pretty bad on the news. So, I started scaling in here, added a little here on the breakout, and then the news came out and it just kind of faded down. So again, I'm still less than 20% of size on this. So I really don't mind being upside down on this. If we can find some accumulation here and it starts to ramp up again, that would be nice. But obviously with the ICO fears kind of globally now, I'm not surprised to see that pulling back. Also Litecoin, just kind of taking a look at the USD chart. As we went parabolic from about 70 close to 100, we snapped back and retested prior support around 65. And so this is still bullish. The trend is still intact. But, you can see why we pulled back a little bit, because we had that parabolic move, and then kind of like we had almost the 5,000 touch on Bitcoin, we had almost 100 touch on LTC. So still just kind of looking for that trend continuation. BCH, so Bitcoin Cash, if we take a look at, let's just do Kraken here. You can see, again, we had the nice rip up to 900. So when we went from 3 to 900 in just 3 days, this was actually during the mastermind event in Austin. So we took a third off of the table. I'm still holding this. I haven't touched this since then. And if you take a look at kind of the bigger picture here, one thing that happened was we did a really nice fib retracement, held right around that sweet spot. So again, the sweet spot's right inside of the 38 to the 61. So if that holds up, let's just look at some targets longer term. If we can get an extension of this move, the 100% is up there around 1,200. So there really hasn't been any change there. I've had that marked up for over a week now. I'm still just kind of holding long-term positions on Dash Strat, Factom, and the Ethereums. ETH, if we take a look at Ethereum, we had the double top at 400, and we had a sharp pullback off of 400, but you can see just like Litecoin and Bitcoin, that's kind of stabilizing on a fib retracement. So just kind of holding this, my position here is still long, just holding, watching that 400 level. Dash also, if you take a look at USDT or, just let's do Poloniex so we can get more price. You can see also had like a smaller double top there at 400. Factom is a kind of a long-term hold. This isn't a trader for me. This is just a super, super long-term investment because of the type of projects that they do. But anytime that it pumps and doubles or triples, I take some off the table. So again, just kind of holding that. Taking a look at ETC. So compared to Bitcoin, ETC is beat pretty hard. If you take a look at the USD chart, though, again, clear resistance here through the low 20s, clear support through 12 or 13, and we've really just been channeling since May. So took some profit in the spring and just, not much to say about that, just kind of holding that position. Today, looking at the kind of the gainers and the losers list, there's quite a bit here on the gainers list that only is trading on Chinese exchanges. So I'm not going to cover those. The two that I found that, again, are kind of interesting. Obviously, the biggest one by trading volume, NEO. If we take a look at that compared to BTC, obviously with the China news had a strong pullback. You can see it's kind of retesting that prior support. Or that prior resistance, turn support. I'm not doing anything here. I want to wait probably at least a few more days to see what kind of happens with China, or at least see a pattern start to develop here. We are at support, and you can see we've gotten a bounce off of that support, which has been pretty nice. But I'm really just not rushing that. That's just my kind of preference there. And then PDC is a cheap one that I just kind of noticed. If you take a look, I mean, it's only, what is that trading for? It's 20 cents. It's only trading 2 million bucks. And nothing too interesting, but I am watching this. This would be one that, if we started to see like volume spikes where we could actually hold a breakout, like let's say we got a breakout above this level, and then maybe a retest of that could turn into something. So I've got this on watch, but not jumping too quickly at that. So that's it for me, guys. Again, not much to say other than, 5K resistance is the test. If we break through that, looking for 5,200, still holding part of that breakout. And, just being more conservative overall, right? We're just kind of, there's a lot of uncertainty around ICOs right now. So I would just encourage you guys not to go bottom hunting for everything super, super aggressively right now. That's just kind of my opinion. I'll let Rocky come on after me and he can tell you what he thinks, but that's just kind of how I'm playing that. And again, I'm just heavy mostly in Bitcoin, and I've got those long-term positions and just waiting for the home run plays, right? I'm not trying to shoot at squirrels. I'm really waiting for the next big 12-point buck. So hope that's helpful. And that's it for me.
So I'm going to start off talking about some of the positions that I'm in that really interests me today. Obviously, ZRX is newish. It's being added to Poloniex. I kind of underwater a little bit because I jumped the gun a little bit early on that. But for me, it was just to have some and to also wait for it to kind of rally. So I bought down in support over in this area. And then it broke down, and I was okay with that risk because I knew that it was a Poloniex ad. So I was looking at market sentiment, and this was really the first coin that they've added in quite some time, aside from Bitcoin Cash. But this is the first coin that they've chosen to add to their exchange. And we do know that markets on Poloniex really like to ramp up. We're starting to see an increase in volume here. We've got immediate possible break of this descending trend line here. Actually, there's a little bit of a channel, bear channel going on, and that's because it was up really high above the ICO price. So I wouldn't actually be surprised to see this thing ramp up. So I'm just holding. It's not a huge size position, but if it turns into one of those wild Poloniex bull runs, then a modest size position will actually turn into something quite profitable. So right now I'm just holding that and waiting for much bigger moves, especially if this volume keeps up. I wouldn't be surprised to, well, just look at any chart on Poloniex, right? Usually any new coin or anything that gets added to Poloniex, it's usually just a matter of time before, the market makers on Poloniex start to take an interest in it, and next thing you know, it turns into top market. So I definitely think that this is worth having, and on a fundamental level, it's a really interesting coin because they're going to be like a decentralized token exchange for Ethereum tokens. And so with this ICO fear, this ICO ban, a decentralized trading platform like this would actually be quite bullish. I think something like this would be quite needed in the industry. GNT, this is I'm up on this one. This is a market that just started to ramp up. So anyways, looks like GNT's ramping up. I mean, it's technically up a double since the bottom. So, that's why I like buying cheap things in crypto, because that's how I make a lot of money. So let me just show you what I was looking at before. So if you just do a fib retracement, this is one of the reasons, another reason why I like fib retracements is, I'll look for good dip buying areas. For the most part on altcoins, I like to buy it closer to the 78 zone because a lot of them aren't liquid, and most of them, you'll see Ripple, you'll see a whole bunch of them. A lot of them will actually retrace all the way down to the 78, and in this case it went even lower, but obviously you can see some support in through here. And I never really have any qualms if a market is completely oversold and lost. Let's see what percentage that lost. Lost like 80% of its value. I generally feel pretty comfortable in buying a dip at support and just waiting. And so in this case, there's some news event. They have a release coming out and so on and so forth. So we're maybe seeing a little bit of a FOMO happening right now, but so this is one market that's kind of taken off, that's doing fairly well. Other markets that I'm in, just slow cookers, really. BAT, just a slow cooker, nothing much to see there. TRST is the exact same thing, slow cooker. Same with CFI, all that stuff. These are just, these are patience plays. You buy some cheap, you wait, and you do nothing. So you got to position size something that you're comfortable in holding. If your majority of your portfolio is in that kind of stuff, then you're not going to be able to trade or do other things. So, I usually keep like under 20% generally of my crypto portfolio. So as far as Bitcoin's concerned, I did take some hard profit off of the table yesterday on this bounce up around the 4,600 area. And I cashed out about 20%, diversified a bit. Also, I basically put a bunch of money in the bank too, which is fine. I do it at different milestones, right? 5,000 area is a huge round emotional number. And like I mentioned before, it's the exact same measured move on the fib extensions as 2013 right now. We are, in 2013, we broke the fib extensions if you measured it from the low, and we did the exact same thing this time around. So we could ramp up, obviously, and we could go up higher, but there's some risk to that, right? The higher it goes, the higher the probability of a very, very violent shakeout. Counterforce, stretching the elastic right now. So I don't mind scaling out and locking out hard profit along the way. I'm still riding 40% of my long position from here. And what I mean by closing out 20%, I mean over my entire Bitcoin portfolio. So I would say at least half of my Bitcoin portfolio is a long-term investment at this point, because I've pulled out a lot of money out of the markets, and so on and so forth. So at least half is a long-term investment. So, but it looks very bullish right now. It looks like we're possibly gonna ramp up for another V bottom, and this is also one of the reasons why position size for a lot of these altcoins, and position size something comfortable, that if Bitcoin hit a bear trend, I would just feel comfortable and holding them even if they lost value, and I wouldn't be losing too much money or getting back too much profit, because the thing that I don't like doing is cutting out of coins that look like they're an accumulation and then watching them pop off like the next month, right? So generally, anytime I've been impatient on that, it they take off. So that's pretty much it. That's it for Bitcoin. If we hit up into higher areas, I think we could possibly get a parabolic squeeze up into the 7,000 area, and that's kind of like my next major target if we break out and we don't just flop at the 5,200 extension level here. So if we go up there, I'm just gonna keep selling into strength and taking profit, and then if we ever hit 10,000, well, this is 10,000 would be like the big round emotional area. If we hit 5 digits on Bitcoin, that would be a huge psychological area, and as a result of that, I would say that this is, if we ever did, I'm not saying that we're going to, but if we did hit up into this area, that to me would be a very, very strong signal and a sign to at least sell half of everything, and probably reduce and exit out of altcoins and stuff, because that would just be a very exaggerated move. And anytime you break a new major milestone, like when we went from 3 digits to 4 digits in 2013, that was a major milestone. And in this case, if we went from 3 to 5, 4 to 5, then literally 3 to 5, but 5 would be a huge milestone. And I suspect if we ever did get up that high, and especially if it was a vertical green candle, it would be a nasty, nasty bear trend. And I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm going to make a lot of money in the bear trend, so I don't mind that. Different trading style, but I'm going to enjoy it. So anyways, that's it for today's market update. Cheers.